By an unfortunate twist of fate, I found myself entwined with my arch-nemesis throughout the night. He proclaimed that he is with child. The offspring is mine. I let out a derisive laugh. You, an alpha S-class, who bears the burden of nausea. It certainly does not fall upon you. Rather, it is you who shall endure it. Goodness. What kind of commotion did I just unleash? 01 in the municipal hospital's reproductive department. The chief physician peered over his spectacles, regarding me with a bemused expression. Pray tell, who is pregnant? Him. To my astonishment, Qi Yenshan had the audacity to point at me. I had clearly explained the situation. He had believed me. We had mutually agreed that I would accompany him for the examination. What was the meaning of this? Was he toying with me? I glared at him, my fists clenched tightly, making a cracking sound. Ahem. The chief physician adjusted his glasses and handed me a form. Take this and proceed with the examination. I glanced at the name on the form, and my irritation flared. He is pregnant too. You should issue him a form as well. The bespectacled doctor sipped his tea, spat out a tea leaf, and slapped the form onto my palm. He is not pregnant if he could. I'd be sitting here while you took my place. He took another sip of hot tea. Didn't your physiology class teach you to take precautions? Alas, just a moment of haste. Now look, your belly is swelling, and you realize the urgency. Why was I the only one being singled out? Qi Yenshan had the gall to cover his face and laugh. I thrust the examination form at his chest. If you need to go, go by yourself. Qi Yenshan bent down to retrieve the form, turning to the doctor. Uncle, perhaps you could refrain from speaking so much? I finally managed to coax him here. I'd prefer not to have you say he ran off again. I gritted my teeth, my fists pressing against the table. Qi Yenshan, do you have any shame left? Ahem. I turned my head to find the doctor smiling at me, sliding back in his chair. This table has been with me for over a decade. Handle it gently. People are, well, people. My tightly clenched fist was suddenly enveloped. Qi Yenshan was challenging me with a calm demeanor. Uncle, you seem rather busy. I'll take him for the examination first, and tomorrow I'll send you 2 boxes of tea. All right, hurry along. The doctor glanced at me again, covering his mouth. Your partner looks like he wants to replace me. I don't. Qi Yenshan seized the form, pressing down on my shoulder with one hand as he led me out. Leaning closer, he whispered, if memory serves, I did go in that night. Considering the timeline, it has only been a month. If you don't want it, there's still time. Of course, if you wish to keep it, I will support you. I slapped him away. Support your own big head. The more I thought about it, the angrier I became, and I kicked him again. This is all your fault. 02 to this day. I am unwilling to revisit that fateful night. He had accidentally consumed counterfeit alcohol, yet he dragged me, in a state of unintended arousal, to a hotel to relieve himself. He claimed he could control himself, insisted he wouldn't go all the way. It was all a pack of lies. After completing the final examination, wherever I went, Qi Yenshan's gaze followed me, a smirk of mischief lingering at the corners of his mouth. I frowned in annoyance. What are you smiling about? He sat beside me, murmuring, you were quite spicy that night. I turned my head, smiling, and playfully tapped his upturned lips. Qi Yenshan. What is it? Your loose tongue is a malady. The sooner you treat it, the better. Should the doctor treat it for me? Just as I was about to lecture him on mental health, my work phone rang. Thus, I opted for a more physical approach, pinching his lips while using my other hand to answer the call. The result was immediate. Qi Yenshan moved to sit across from me. One call after another, I handled 3 work-related messages. Just as I received a meeting reminder from my assistant, I heard the person opposite me remark, do you really love work this much? I shot him a glare, calculating the time in my head. Then I heard him say, an overly ambitious omega will never attract the attention of an alpha. I scoffed, what does that have to do with you? I gathered my tablet, preparing to leave when a shadow loomed in front of me. The examination results are not yet out. Where do you think you're going? Back to the company for a meeting. Just as I took a step, my arm was seized with considerable force. Is it really worth sacrificing just a little time? Is work more important than your health? Have you not learned from the lesson of almost compromising yourself by attending to clients while in heat just a month ago? His brow furrowed, his chest heaving. He seemed quite agitated. I had no idea what was troubling him or from what standpoint he was coming from. Qi Yenshan, you're hurting me. The pressure on my arm eased, replaced by a faint scent of green sandalwood. The temporary mark still lingered. My upright spine gradually lost its strength. I closed my eyes, forcing myself to regain my composure, then met his cold gaze. Not everyone is like you, Mr. Chi, born with wealth that ordinary people toil for a lifetime to attain. I, Shi Yao, am but a worthless life, relying solely on myself, never needing anyone's pity. I came for the examination results. Whether they are positive or negative, it is of no concern to you, Mr. Chi. Qi Yenshan had a somewhat roguish charm, coupled with the inherent powerful aura of an S-class alpha. When he darkened his expression, it was indeed intimidating. But to me he was just that, nothing more. I smirked coldly, sidestepping him and making my way directly to the elevator. This man had pursued me before. What was there to fear? 03 Qi Yenshan transferred to my high school during our sophomore year. From the moment he arrived, he became the most radiant presence, not only due to his lineage, looks, and status but also his academic prowess. As for me, I was merely an ordinary person, likely to become a beta who had a gambling-addicted, alcoholic father attempting to sell me for money. In terms of grades, after Qi Yenshan's arrival, I was swiftly demoted from first to second in the monthly exam. His handsome visage had never been a boon for me. The only asset I could boast was my academic performance. Thus, I never concealed my ambitions. I was determined to reclaim the top spot. Qi Yenshan often acted as if he could not exist without me. Classmates and teachers believed there was animosity between us, and I too held that belief until I suddenly underwent my maturation. Due to my late development, the ensuing first heat nearly cost me my life. I was so financially constrained that I worked 3 jobs on weekends. The doctor suggested I purchase a potent suppressant, but in my frugality, I opted for the most basic version. After injecting 3 doses, I still felt as though I were submerged in boiling magma. In a dilapidated room with tightly shut windows and doors, I curled up in the corner, too pained to move. I wondered cynically if I might burn to death in the throes of heat. Just as my consciousness began to blur, the door was kicked open with a loud bang. Someone crouched before me. I didn't need to look to know who it was. Burying my head in the crook of my arm, I struggled to breathe. "Get out. You're going to die," Qi Yenshan said calmly. Instinctively, I wanted to retort, but the scent of alpha pheromones wafted to my nostrils. Fresh, subtle, and gradually becoming rich and robust. "Can you accept it?" Green sandalwood. I lifted my head, my gaze slowly tracing his brow, eyes, nose, and lips. He still looked infuriatingly punchable. "Shouldn't you be delighted if I were to die?" He chuckled nonchalantly, placing his hand on my shoulder and slowly sliding it to the nape of my neck. "Shi Yao, I nearly went blind from studying just to surpass you. In all my years, I've never encountered anyone as intriguing as you." I remained still, allowing his fingers to caress and probe around my gland. "So what? So let me help you. I can hardly pay attention in class without seeing you, and with the second mock exam approaching, you cannot allow my efforts to go to waste." My mind was hazy, and all I could see were his lips moving. My gaze dropped, pausing for 2 seconds before I smirked. "Qi Yenshan, you're begging me." A laugh echoed in my ear as Qi Yenshan pulled me into his embrace. His voice low and husky. "I beg you, Shi Yao. Let me mark you." 0, for it was merely a temporary mark. It wouldn't cost me a piece of flesh. In truth, I had no alternative. After it was over, I asked how much. Qi Yenshan seemed momentarily taken aback, blinking slowly. I clarified the pheromones of an S-level alpha, according to market price, as my cheeks were suddenly pinched. "I'm not selling myself." I brushed aside his hand and continued, "According to market price, I certainly cannot afford it. What do you desire in return?" The furrow in Qi Yenshan's brow gradually eased. "Are you serious?" I chuckled softly. "I can't offer you money, but what else do you wish for?" "In that case," Qi Yenshan smiled meaningfully, "I want you." "What?" "I want to date you." "Date for what? Math or physics? Let us not discuss language arts. I'm terrible at it. Let us talk about love." I tilted my head, scrutinizing him, and after a moment replied, "All right, for the second mock exam, let me have some leeway and I'll consider it." Qi Yenshan muttered, "Little liar," drawing closer to add, "If I don't strive to stay ahead of you, you wouldn't even glance my way." I closed my eyes and smiled wearily. The respect and acknowledgement I longed for had unexpectedly come from the rival of the favored one. 05 Qi Yenshan kept his word. Not once did he relent. He was subtly pursuing me. The fiercer we fought in public, the more fervently he would chase me in private. I I couldn't comprehend what he saw in me, nor did I acquiesce to his advancements. Yet we engaged in all the activities couples typically do time and again. Our quarrels, however, were even more frequent. I spent most of my free time working odd jobs. Qi Yenshan believed I was squandering my youth and questioned why I wouldn't accept his help. I smiled and countered, asking why I should accept his assistance. When he inquired about my family situation, I always evaded the topic. He invited me to his home, but I consistently found excuses. As time passed, trust dissipated. Even the greatest enthusiasm can be worn thin. In my perception, love struggles to transcend class barriers. Qi Yenshan stood atop the peak, while I remained at the foot of the mountain, burdened by a ticking time bomb. I often found myself in a daze, wondering whether his affection was genuine or merely pity. Sometimes, during our arguments, I felt devoid of any confidence. I thought to myself, at the very least, once I reached midway up the mountain, or at least when I rid myself of that ticking bomb. When I sensed Qi Yenshan growing increasingly distant, I grasped a truth. Love requires the right timing, place, and people. Why should Qi Yenshan wait for me? During our final argument, he accused me of playing with his feelings. I wanted to retort but found no suitable words. For someone as conflicted and sensitive as I, any amount of love poured into my heart felt like it fell into a bottomless pit, leaving not even an echo. It felt no different from playing with my emotions. I had never actually agreed to him, so there was no need for a breakup. Later, I entered university. Qi Yenshan and I ended up at different institutions, and we rarely kept in touch. Occasionally, at high school reunions, he would speak with veiled barbs. After drinking, I wasn't idle either, retorting in kind. In front of everyone, our enmity was further solidified. I found it oddly satisfying. Qi Yenshan and I were indeed suited to sparring, not to embracing. After graduating from university, I abandoned my pursuit of further studies and embarked on entrepreneurship. I heard that Qi Yenshan had gone abroad. I felt little about it. He was no longer my goal in the race for fame and fortune. Whether he was present or not, I was determined to tread the path of class ascension. What did it matter being an omega? What did it matter lacking support? Ultimately, it was merely a life to live. I would forge ahead. 06 a month ago, after 2 months of negotiations, my company finally reached the contract signing stage with Ruifang Pharmaceuticals. The date for the prearranged business banquet coincided precisely with the day before my estrus cycle, which occurs every 3 months. As was customary, I should have taken a leave to stay home. Thus, the banquet was supposed to be attended by another founder of the company, Wei Ran. However, he suddenly notified me that after a hot pot meal, his wife was going into labor. Given that this collaboration involved our export pharmaceuticals, there was no room for negligence. I had no choice but to attend. Upon seeing me, the CEO of Ruifang immediately ordered several new bottles of wine to be opened. Another reason I was reluctant to attend was the CEO himself. The delay in signing the contract over 2 months was also a test of my limits. In my years of business, I had encountered such situations numerous times. During my initial years of entrepreneurship, I even dealt with direct lewd remarks at the dining table, which I managed to navigate. That day, I could have left unscathed. After signing the contract, I retreated to the restroom to vomit. Upon returning and washing my face, I sensed someone standing behind me. When I looked up, my reflection was that of a water-streaked visage, accompanied by the furrowed brow of Qi Yenshan, who was observing me with crossed arms. I braced myself against the sink, lowering my head, my breathing becoming erratic. After splashing my face with a few handfuls of cool water, I maneuvered past him without uttering a word. Back in the private room, the CEO of Ruifang continued to refill my glass. One drink after another, I appeared oblivious to my inebriation. It wasn't until the back of my neck felt unbearably hot that I regained awareness. The air was thick with the acrid scent of alpha pheromones, accompanied by a greasy hand creeping around my waist. I struggled to finish the polite exchanges and instructed my subordinate briefly before stumbling out. The CEO insisted on seeing me off, rising to follow me. The nauseating laughter behind me grew closer. Just as I was about to reach the door of the private room, it suddenly swung open. I lurched forward, crashing into a warm, solid embrace. Strangely, I immediately felt no desire to move. The familiar scent of S-level alpha pheromones soon overpowered the unpleasant odor. The room fell silent. Qi Yenshan hoisted me over his shoulder and carried me outside. Once in the car, I expressed my gratitude. I do not accept verbal thanks. I loosened my tie, lifted my eyelids, and glanced at him with amusement, breathlessly asking, "What do you want from me? I was drugged, and you helped me." I shut my eyes, fastening my seatbelt while mockingly laughing. "Serves you right." The Alpha S aura suddenly bore down on me, and I felt a bite on my lips. "Will you help me?" I bit back at the same spot and pushed him away. "Drive faster." 07 Our next encounter was precisely 1 month later. Early in the morning, Qi Yenshan awaited me at the entrance of my community, blocking my way. He immediately proclaimed that he was pregnant and demanded that I take responsibility. I too was unyielding. After just a few exchanges, we found ourselves in a peculiar silence. Consequently, I was inexplicably ushered into his car. Confused, I underwent an examination. And now, I find myself sitting in the conference room of my company, anxiously contemplating the results of the test and that displeased expression. After the meeting concluded, I returned to my office for a brief respite of 10 minutes, contemplating a visit to the hospital to retrieve the report. Just then, my phone rang, a number I had become intimately familiar with a decade ago. "What do you want?" "The test results are in." I remained silent. "Your uncle mentioned that your pregnancy is still in its early stages. He advised that you return in a week for an ultrasound to check on the heartbeat and embryo growth. He prescribed some supplements which I'll bring over. Also, your pheromones seem quite unstable. Do you need me?" "Mr. Qi," I interrupted, "what exactly is your concern here?" There was a long silence on the other end. Just when I thought he had hung up, I heard him inquire, "Shiryao, can we discuss this in person?" "What is there to discuss? Business? The undeveloped embryo in my belly? Or perhaps let us talk about you." "About what?" "About how you've been faring these past years." I replied impatiently, "Quite well, thank you." "I don't believe you." "If you don't believe me, then what is your point?" A chuckle resonated through the receiver. "Your uncle was right. Early-stage omega pregnancies often lead to irritability and mood swings. Just wait and see." I scoffed. "Wait for what? Is your patience wearing thin and you're eager to reprimand me?" "I'll come tonight to soothe you." Unbelievable. Speaking of soothing, Wei Ran's wife had just given birth, and as a responsible alpha, he had to be by her side. Thus, after collecting my red envelope, he promptly delegated all his tasks to me. I had worked overtime for several consecutive days. Today, after finishing my work, I could barely keep my eyes open. I was already irritated when I noticed a suitcase at the entrance, its owner wearing a sour expression. It was utterly exasperating. I circumvented him and headed straight for the door lock. "Shiryao, what? Must you always return home so late? Is work that crucial to you? Can't you take better care of yourself?" He shouted at me. I surrendered half of my password and turned around, only to find him still glaring at me. "Qi Yenshan, did you wait all this time just to scold me? How amusing. I didn't ask you to wait for me. Why do you give me that sour face? Did I ever say I wanted to keep this child? How can I take care of a child when I can't even take care of myself?" All of it was out in the open, like a balloon that had been punctured. In an instant, I felt utterly drained. My back against the door, my heart raced violently, and only the sound of our breathing filled the air. As the tip of his shoe moved forward, a warm hand brushed across my cheek. "Why are you crying? Didn't you say you were doing just fine?" I hastily wiped my face and turned away. My fingers barely grazed the electronic door lock when a wave of heat enveloped my back, arms encircling my waist. "Let go. Push me away then. If you push me away now, I promise I'll leave and never bother you again." I took several deep breaths, restraining my trembling hands. I grasped his thumb, pinching it tightly. In the next moment, Qi Yenshan spun me around, embracing me from the front. His voice trembled slightly as he said, "I knew it, Shiryao. I just knew it." I sniffled, my voice thick with emotion. "You know nothing." So infuriating. Qi Yenshan insisted on staying over. Fine, let him stay. He even insisted on sharing a bed with me. When he emerged from the shower, I tossed him a new set of bed linens. "You should sleep in the guest room. I've been having trouble sleeping lately." This was the truth. For the past week, falling asleep had been a challenge, and I often woke up easily. "That's why I'm here," Qi Yenshan replied, returning the linens to the cabinet. Without the soothing effect of an alpha's pheromones, early-stage omega pregnancies can be quite taxing, leading to insomnia, anxiety, irritability, and loss of appetite. I scoffed dismissively. "Are you so certain that the child in my womb is yours?" At my words, Qi Yenshan raised an eyebrow and slowly approached me. After years apart, Have you resorted to such tricks? Seeking other men while bearing my mark? Can he satisfy you? Can he make you feel good? I slapped a hand over his mouth. Sorry, that was reflexive. Qi Yenshan licked his lips, narrowing his eyes as he assessed me. What are you suddenly? My wrist was seized, pulling me forward into his half-open shirt. In an instant, I found myself half-embraced and toppled onto the bed. One of his hands was beneath my waist, while the other held my shoulder, our bodies separated by merely a palm's breadth. I pushed against him with my knee, only to have him pin it down with his leg. What are you doing? Is it mine? We can find out, can't we? Before I could react, he effortlessly flipped me over, his chest pressing against my back. Let go. Soon you'll feel good. Let go. The nape of my neck was suddenly enveloped in warmth, his tongue teasing a small protrusion. I writhed restlessly, pushing against him. My resistance met with a sharp sting as he bit me. Qi Yenshan was marking me, slowly releasing pheromones. Almost instantly, the scent of green sandalwood intertwined with my bamboo fragrance. A memory surfaced from high school biology class. My teacher had explained that compatible pheromones, upon meeting, are like two wisps of smoke rising and intertwining, gradually merging into a single thread. They diffuse into the bloodstream, flowing through each other's bodies. In that moment, I felt as if I were submerged in a warm bath. Every pore in my body relaxed, not merely in relaxation but in a gradual surge of pleasure. A large hand wandered down my lower back. Qi Yenshan mischievously breathed warm air against my ear. My face flushed as I buried my head into the pillow. I grasped his arm and pinched it hard. After a low chuckle, I was flipped over once more. Qi Yenshan had somehow stripped himself bare, reaching for my clothes as well. Are you glaring at me? At this moment, your glare is no different from a pout, he teased, his voice deep. What do you intend to do? He tossed the blanket over us, his other hand busily exploring. Doing things that will bring you joy. The scents of green sandalwood and bamboo entwined and mingled. Qi Yenshan's voice was low and beguiling. Want more? I bit my lip, instinctively responding with a soft He pulled me into his embrace, and as I clung to his shoulder, waves of tingling pleasure coursed through my spine, forcing me to bite my lip to suppress my moans. Suddenly, the pressure behind me intensified, and I couldn't help but bite him. Qi Yenshan pushed me deeper into his embrace, his voice hoarse as he said, I'm about to lose control. If you bite me again, I'll take it for real. Clearly, he was the one who initiated this. After it ended, I lay against his abdomen, feeling a mix of emotions. I curled my fingers and looked up at him. You should go handle it in the bathroom. Qi Yenshan cast me a resentful glance, gripping my chin and planting a forceful kiss on my lips before rolling off the bed. Ungrateful little thing. When Qi Yenshan slid into bed, enveloped in a chill, I was already too tired to keep my eyes open. I had to admit he was somewhat useful. But now, forcing me awake was rather irritating. Just as my hand rose, Qi Yenshan leaned in close. Just one slap, then give me a moment. Some matters must be addressed while the iron is hot. Otherwise, you'll deny everything come morning. I relented. 10 minutes. Qi Yenshan grasped my hand tightly in his palm and inquired, the first matter at hand. Will you acknowledge that the child is mine? Yes, I replied. A tender kiss pressed against my forehead. Excellent. To preempt any unwarranted thoughts from certain individuals, I hereby clarify that from this day forth, all my actions will be aimed at nurturing the elder, while the younger is merely a secondary consideration. If the elder does not wish for the younger, then we can only part ways, and perhaps fate will reunite us in the future. If you agree, grant me a kiss. Qi Yenshan brought the back of his hand to brush against my lips. Okay, very well. The second matter. Why did you initially refuse to accept me? Why? Because I felt unworthy. Because I feared being a burden. Because of that pitiful ounce of pride. I withdrew my hand from his grip and stared at the ceiling. Qi Yenshan, you must already have the answer in your heart. His right hand enveloped mine once more. Let me rephrase. If I were to pursue you again, would the chances of success be 50%? Are you not afraid that I might toy with your feelings again? That is not your concern. Just tell me yes or no. Not merely yes. Another kiss graced my forehead. Very well. The final matter. I actually posed this question to you a decade ago. Shiryao, could you rely on me a little more? A decade prior, following a bout of passion, I lay exhausted upon him. He caressed my back, asking if I could depend on him for other matters as well. At that time, my response had been succinct. I would not. Truly, I would not. No one had ever taught me how. I had just recalled that answer, yet for some reason it felt difficult to articulate now. I turned away from him, my back facing him. Qi Yenshan. 10 minutes have elapsed. A resigned chuckle echoed in my ears. Very well, at least you did not outright reject me. He tucked the blanket around me once more. Good night, Shiyao. After Qi Yenshan moved in, my life indeed underwent some changes. I could enjoy warm breakfasts, and upon returning home at night, the lights would be aglow. My sleep quality significantly improved. This morning, however, I was late again, caught by Wei Ran, who had just returned to work. He paced back and forth in my office, holding a cup of coffee. The always punctual General Tai, who wouldn't be late even in a typhoon or hailstorm, has reportedly been late 3 times this month. What do you have to say for yourself? As he was responsible for the company's finances, I merely smiled nonchalantly. I suppose a deduction is in order. The documents I had just opened were snatched away. Is that what you meant, Yair? Looking up, I saw him wearing a new smile. Look at your rosy complexion. I can faintly detect an alpha scent on you. Do confess, is there something going on? Well, sort of. Really? Wei Ran grasped my shoulders, visibly excited. You've finally come to terms with it. Yair, 4 years, every festival you've spent alone. Your sister-in-law and I have wanted to introduce someone to you, but you always rejected us outright. As he spoke, he hugged me again, giving my back a gentle pat. It hasn't been easy, Yair. It's quite a feat to have you, the elusive flower, finally blooming. Just tonight, let us take the early shift, and you bring your partner to my place for dinner. My wife and I will vet them for you. I pushed him away, a mix of laughter and exasperation on my face. You needn't worry so much. My connection with Qi Yenshan felt akin to a dish that was half-cooked, on the verge of perfection. Initially, we had parted ways in disharmony, and nearly a decade had elapsed without a word. Now that he approached me once more, I was attempting to reveal my truest self to him. Yet, 10 years was ample time for substantial change. Perhaps when he sees the most authentic version of me, he will no longer be inclined to embrace me, or perhaps he might lose patience with me sooner than he did 10 years ago. That afternoon, shortly after 5, Wei Ran urged me to clock out. Even though I did not bring my partner, I still went to his home. Wei Ran and I were classmates in university, and his wife Suji was a direct senior of ours. The first time Wei Ran met her, he was utterly smitten, pursuing her with all the finesse of a blunt instrument. I often facilitated their budding romance, and in the process, Suji and I became close friends. After graduation, Wei Ran and I ventured into business together, with Suji providing considerable financial support. In the initial years of our company, we often worked late into the night. To ensure Wei Ran could return home to a warm meal, Suji even took up culinary lessons. Consequently, every time I visited, it was Suji who prepared the meals. But today was different. Today's dinner was hastily made by Wei Ran upon returning home. To be frank, it did not match the exquisite taste of Qi Yenshan's cooking. After dinner, we visited the nursery to see the baby for a while. As I was leaving, Suji packed a large bag of food for me. Wei Ran helped carry it to my car.
Istrolled lei sureli alongside sui.
Suddenly, he draped an arm over my shoulders, grinning as he asked, I heard from Wei Ran that you've got something going on? How did you two meet? When will you bring them over for us to meet? Indeed, one cannot share a bed and remain unacquainted. I pondered for a moment before responding. Let us wait a bit longer. That is fine, but just a heads up. Before marriage, remember to take precautions. To be honest, upon seeing you for the first time today, I suspected you might be expecting. Haha. Suji chuckled, pinching my cheek playfully. Just a joke. I've been around the baby a lot lately, so I might be a bit dazed. Don't take it personally. Until I settled into my car and bid them farewell, Suji's words lingered in my mind. Since Qi Yenshan moved in, I had not experienced any nausea and could eat, sleep, and work normally. My spirits were even higher than before. If Suji hadn't mentioned it tonight, I might have forgotten that I was carrying a little one. On that day during our phone call, Qi Yenshan had suggested an ultrasound in a week. Almost a month had passed, yet he hadn't mentioned going to the hospital for a checkup. Had he forgotten? As I waited at a red light, a message pinged on my phone. I've made a chestnut and blackbone chicken soup. I have a video conference shortly, so remember to drink it when you get back. Last night, as I was on the verge of sleep, I heard him ask what soup I wanted today. I casually mentioned something sweet. The light turned green, and the traffic began to flow. How thoughtful of him. There's no way he could have forgotten. Upon returning home, the living room lights were aglow. The study was also illuminated. Qi Yenshan occupied my usual workspace, dressed in a black shirt and gold-rimmed glasses. Leaning casually against the chair's back, his gaze was intently focused on the screen, exuding an air of authority and confidence. It was the first time I beheld President Qi in action. He looked remarkably handsome. In truth, he had always been handsome. I watched through the slightly ajar door. Sensing the movement of his gaze, my body reacted before my mind could catch up. I was unsure why I felt the need to hide. 2 seconds later, my phone vibrated. I see you. Classmate Xiuyao. Quick, go taste the soup I made today and tell me if it's good. The soup in the pot was at the perfect temperature. Its color was clear, and the taste was sweet and fragrant. Wei Ran's culinary skills truly paled in comparison to Qi Yenshan's. I took out my phone. It's delicious. Do you want some? I'll bring you a bowl. No need. You eat more. I'll finish up shortly. I sampled a chestnut. It was delicate and soft, bursting with sweetness. After parting ways with Qi Yenshan, I had sworn never to touch chestnuts again, having had my fill. That winter during my senior year, after finishing a part-time job, Qi Yenshan would always bring a bag of roasted chestnuts to find me. I would be busy with my studies, and he would sit beside me on a stool, watching to see if I made any mistakes, while he peeled the chestnuts, popping one after another into my mouth. The flavor, I suppose, is akin to what I am currently savoring. Just as I set down my spoon, I felt a light tap on my left shoulder. Without turning my head, I swatted to the right. Qi Yenshan exaggeratedly clutched his stomach. I cast him a sidelong glance and mimicked his gesture, cradling my own belly. Instantly, he crouched before me, eyes wide with concern. What's wrong? Is your stomach hurting? I gazed at him steadily for a few seconds before suddenly breaking into a smile. Me fine. I thought you had forgotten. Forgotten what? I pointed to the chair beside him, gesturing for him to sit down. Qi Yenshan. He still wore a frown. You actually want me to keep the baby, don't you? I refrained from mentioning the examinations, and he, too, chose silence on that front. The longer we waited, the greater the risks of termination became. The chances of my giving birth increased correspondingly. Qi Yenshan lowered his gaze, remaining silent. Silence, too, is a form of response. If you desire a child so much, why not marry earlier? Surely, there are many who wish to marry you. Xiuyao, Qi Yenshan finally met my eyes. If we have a child, you and I will be bound together for life. I propped my head up with one hand, peering into his eyes. How could someone be so resolute? I chuckled softly and called out to him. Qi Yenshan. Yes? I don't have to work tomorrow. Are you free? I am. What's up? Let us visit the hospital and see how the baby is doing. On the way to the hospital, I felt a hint of anxiety creeping in, primarily because I had consumed quite a bit of alcohol that night. Qi Yenshan appeared even more anxious. He called his uncle 3 times before 7 in the morning. As he fastened his seatbelt, he almost inserted the buckle into the passenger side. Is it really necessary? Perhaps I should drive, I suggested. No, that would make me seem utterly incapable. You can take a nap if you're tired. Watching him merge onto the main road, I noticed him donning his hood. Just as I was about to close my eyes, I heard him ask, Xiuyao, you said last night that as long as the baby is healthy, you would carry it to term, right? You're not going back on your word, are you? I said so. I 1T backtrack. A month had passed since I last set foot in the municipal hospital. My previous visit had been filled with reluctance. Yet this time, my mindset was entirely different. After undergoing all the examinations, I involuntarily exhaled in relief upon hearing Qi Yenshan's uncle declare, everything is normal. The uncle, placing his teacup down, adopted a rare serious expression. So, you are certain about going through with this? I glanced at Qi Yenshan, who was engrossed in examining the ultrasound report, and replied certainly. One more thing, he continued. What is it? Try to smile more often. Is it beneficial for the fetal development? It's beneficial for you. Another question. Are you two married? Qi Yenshan raised his head at this, casting a glance my way and said, Uncle, let's not concern ourselves with that. We have our own pace. Pace? You've already conceived a child, and yet you can't even secure your own omega? You've brought shame to the alpha title. One day, when the child seeks out its father, you'll have no place left to lament, he scolded. I coughed twice. Uncle, doctor, I can hear you. What doctor? Just call me uncle. Suddenly, my left hand was grasped, and Qi Yenshan, furrowing his brow, asked, Do you know how? Know how to do what? To seek out the father for the child. No, I don't. Really? Then I'll need a marriage certificate for security. At that moment, I finally understood the purpose behind Qi Yenshan's 3 calls that morning. Just as I was about to nod and say, all right, my phone rang. It was my assistant, Xiao Lin. I stood and walked outside the office to answer. What is it? I apologize for interrupting your rest, Mr. Shi. A lady has come to see you. She insists that if she cannot meet you today, she won tea leave. President Wei has arranged for her to wait in the reception room. Who is she? She claims to be your mother. My mother. It had been years since I had heard those 3 words. Just as I hung up the phone, Qi Yenshan approached. Yao, uncle was just joking. You don't need to feel pressured. I promised to pursue you until you willingly agree to be with me. Well, since you're off today, I made a reservation at a restaurant. After we eat, I'll take you there. Qi Yenshan. What is it? I need to return to the office. Qi Yenshan's smile faltered, his eyes reflecting disappointment so palpable it was painful. Right now? Yes. Then I'll drive you. I withdrew my hand, speaking softly. There's no need. Shortly after my birth, my father lost his job. Not long after, he developed a gambling addiction, and within a year, he had squandered everything we had. Unable to bear it, my mother divorced him. After she left, my father turned to alcohol. When sober, he would gamble, and when he lost, he would drink. In his drunken state, he would even consider selling me for money. 2 years ago, he faced his comeuppance. Drunk, he sought me for money and was struck by a car on his way back. He barely survived, now residing in a nursing home, supported by the 2,000 I send him monthly. As for my mother, the last time I heard about her was in high school when my father drunkenly informed me that she had remarried and given birth to an alpha son. Over the years, she has never sought me out. Suddenly, she wishes to meet me. What can I offer her now? Nothing but money, but that's all right. It's the only thing I possess at present. Mr. Shi, your mother is waiting for you in the reception room. I know. As I pushed open the glass door, a plainly dressed woman turned to look at me. Her eyes were red and swollen, and she appeared so worn that I almost failed to recognize her. Yao. I halted in my tracks as she approached. After several attempts to swallow, I finally managed to utter Mom. Oh, she reached for my hand. I haven't seen you in ages. Look at you now, so accomplished. I
am sorry, Yao.
As she spoke, tears began to well in her eyes. I led her to my office. What brings you here? Please just say it directly. She looked at me, clearly struggling to find her words. After what felt like an eternity, she finally spoke. Yao, besides you, I have another son, just as understanding and obedient as you. But 2 months ago, he was diagnosed with leukemia, and we've exhausted all our relatives for a matching donor, but none are suitable. I lowered my head, chuckling bitterly. One seeks my money, the other my life. Yao, you are my last hope. Please, will you help me? I locked eyes with her and stated, Mom, I'm also pregnant. A crack appeared in her sorrowful expression. You're pregnant? When did this happen? How could you? I remained silent, watching as her tears streamed down her face. After a moment, she moved closer to me. Yao, you can still undergo tests while pregnant. It's just a blood draw, it's nothing serious. I gazed silently out of the floor-to-ceiling windows. The sunlight today was strikingly bright, yet it offered no warmth. Out of the corner of my eye, I suddenly saw her kneel down, crying out, Yao, Mom begs you, just go get tested so I can have closure. Please, Yao, get up. I want tea. I'll stay here kneeling until you agree. Yao, can you bear to see your mother? Get up. I couldn't help but raise my voice, avoiding her murky gaze, and finally said, I'll go with you. Upon returning home that evening, the familiar aroma of food greeted me, accompanied by the sound of Qi Yenshan's complaints. I told you, if you don't come back soon, I will go to your company and take you away, I said. In that fleeting moment of eye contact, he suddenly paused mid-sentence. What's wrong? Did you encounter some trouble at work? Your complexion seems rather poor. I turned my head to evade his outstretched hand. The company is mine. Who could possibly upset me? After washing my hands in the restroom, Qi Yenshan continued to chatter incessantly behind me. Who knows? There might be a few unreasonable people who come to trouble you, he said. After drying my hands, I turned around and playfully flicked his face. Qi Yenshan gritted his teeth. You're in for it. Sure, Yao. Just as he pressed me against the sink, I interjected. I'm hungry. I want to eat. As the bowl of rice neared its bottom, Qi Yenshan suddenly asked, Sure, Yao. Are you hiding something from me? My hand, poised to pick up more food, halted, and I forced a smile. Why do you ask that? Your mood today seems off. Why are you analyzing my mood? Analyze? I've had my eye on you since high school. I don't need to analyze anything about you. It's all instinct, all right? His gaze radiated confidence, sincerity, and a hint of arrogance, causing me to set down my chopsticks. Qi Yenshan. Yes? What exactly do you want from me? What do I want? He cleared his throat and grinned mischievously. Quite a lot. I want your pretty face, your alluring figure. I want your stubborn, sensitive nature that only I can soothe, your tenacious spirit that refuses to yield. I want your hard exterior yet soft heart, and your lingering thoughts of me, of course. Now there's an additional reason. I want you to bear my children. I averted his fiery gaze and casually replied, What if I can't have any? Don't say such ominous things. Qi Yenshan reacted dramatically. How could you possibly not be able to have children? Seeing his urgency, I complied and made a few poo sounds. Then I heard him say, Let me tell you, I've already thought of names for the child. I picked up my chopsticks again, placing a few slices of stir-fried bitter melon into my mouth, and asked cooperatively, What names? Qi Yenshan beamed with pride. Our last names, Qi and Shi, Qi-Shi, perfectly timed. It works for both a boy and a girl. I spent the whole afternoon flipping through the dictionary at home. Indeed, no matter how it was prepared, bitter melon remained bitter. Consequently, I hardly paid attention to the latter half of Qi Yenshan's words. So, what do you think? Not bad, right? I swallowed the chewed-up bitter melon, gazing down at the bowl of white rice, murmuring, Very good. 3 days later, during a meeting in the conference room, Assistant Shaolin hurriedly approached, whispering, President Shi, your mother has come to the company and insists on seeing you immediately. Before he could finish, a figure appeared in the glass door of the conference room, followed by a loud knocking. All eyes turned to me. Taking a deep breath, I exchanged a glance with Wei Ran and briskly walked outside. As soon as Su Wen saw me, her eyes sparkled with excitement. I quickly said before she could speak, Let's go to my office. The moment I closed the door, she grabbed my arms, her voice trembling. Yao Yao, you matched. You and your brother have successfully matched. Brother? I scoffed coldly, pulling my hand away and looking at her expressionlessly. So? She froze, seemingly unable to believe my indifference. So your brother is saved. Yao Yao, only you can save him. Mom. I tried to maintain my composure. Have you forgotten something? She averted her gaze, and after a long pause, her voice trembled with tears. Yao Yao, you're still so young. You can have children in the future. But your brother can't wait. I can't just watch my child suffer. He's only 20, she exclaimed, her heart seemingly breaking, unable to articulate a complete sentence. I couldn't help but take a step back, my throat tightening as I swallowed repeatedly, asking, Mom, am I not also your child? She looked at me, her tear-filled eyes reflecting confusion. In the next moment, she grabbed my hand and knelt down. Yao Yao, sure Yao. I fought tooth and nail to bring you into this world. Just think. Think of what? Felt as if knives were in the air, each breath cutting painfully. I forced a sorrowful smile. Just think of returning a life to you, right? She fell silent, only crying. Tears wet my hand. After several deep breaths, I finally spoke. Get up. She reached for my hand again, crying out hoarsely, I won't get up. I'll stay kneeling until you agree. Yao Yao, I'm begging you. The echo of her sobs filled my ears. I pulled my hand free, trying to steady my voice. Get up. I agree. The crying abruptly stopped. She paused for a moment, and a semblance of joy, as if from a near-death experience, emerged on her withered face. She murmured, Really? Yao Yao, you really agreed? Then let's go to the hospital right now, okay? Let's go now. I swallowed the bitterness and smiled. I was just in a meeting. You have to let me arrange my work first. After helping her up, I walked to the window and dialed a number. The first call went unanswered. Trembling, I dialed again. The moment I heard his voice, the heat in my eyes could no longer be suppressed. Why are you calling me at this hour? Missing me? Partner just came to the company, Qi Yenshan. Sure Yao, are you crying? What happened? Are you at your company? Don't cry, be good, he said. I took several deep breaths before finally uttering those words. Qi Yenshan, I need you. Qi Yenshan was on his way. He kept me on the line, asking questions to which I responded. I also divulged things he hadn't asked about. He knew everything regarding my parents. Sure, Yao. I both want to hit you and hug you. Then hurry up. Don't rush me. I'm driving, adhering to the speed limit. Then I won't rush you. I'm hanging up. Hey, don't hang up. You're not allowed to hang up. I can't relax if I don't hear your voice. I have nothing more to say. Then listen to me. Aren't you even a bit curious about the years you didn't come looking for me? Sitting cross-legged on the floor, I gazed through the window at the cars passing below. Then go ahead and tell me. After a long breath, I heard him say, back in college, I actually wanted to pursue you. I tried to find you 10 times, but 9 times I saw you with an alpha, getting close, laughing together. At that time, I thought perhaps I simply wasn't your type, so no matter how I pursued, it was futile. I let out a resigned laugh. That's my current business partner, Wei Ran. She has a child who's already 2 months old. There was a pause on the other end. Damn, I'm so useless. He continued just before graduation. My grandmother was diagnosed with late-stage cancer and needed to go abroad for treatment. I applied for graduate school abroad to accompany her. After 3 years, she still didn't make it. Before she passed, she held my hand and said her only regret was not seeing what her granddaughter-in-law looked like. I showed her your picture, and she was very pleased, saying we were a perfect match. Once she gets to heaven, she'll watch over you for me and told me to hold on tight. After returning my grandmother to her homeland for burial, I sought you out once more, only to find you flourishing in your career, radiating with ambition, still accompanied by that alpha. I realized I had ultimately arrived a step too late. Just as it happened, a foreign company was in need of personnel, so I spent another 3 years abroad. Sure, Yao, for a total of 10 years, I have never ceased to think of you, longing for you deeply. Thus, when I encountered you that night, I intended to exercise restraint, yet I found it utterly impossible. Could we refrain from discussing that night? All right, no mention of it. I'm downstairs at your office counting down. 10, 9, 8, 7, count more slowly, my ancestor. Then I'll stop counting. I hung up the phone and approached the door, unconsciously slowing my pace. The moment I pulled open the door, Qi Yenshan appeared before me, slightly breathless, enfolding me in his embrace. He released me only after his heart, which had been racing, steadied. He examined me from head to toe. You look fine, except for a bit of swelling around your eyes. Where is Ms. Su? I led him a few steps inside, gesturing towards her. Qi Yenshan took my hand as we walked over and sat down opposite her. His tone as grave as if he were engaged in a business negotiation. Hello, Ms. Su. I am sure Yao's alpha, the father of her child. Any matters should be discussed with me. The atmosphere fell momentarily silent. I turned to Su Wen. He has not deceived you, nor have I. I assure you that he will fulfill my promises. From now on, I owe you nothing. With that, I had little more to say. The remainder was entrusted to Qi Yenshan. Just as I stepped out of the office, I was intercepted by Wei Ran. What is going on, Yao? The head of Shengmin Group has come at your behest to discuss expanding our business? After a moment's reflection, I decided to be candid.
I am pregnant.
Wei Ran's eyes widened in shock. Is his? Yes. Goodness, he pursued you back in high school? You reconnected 2 months ago? Yes, I replied, lifting his chin playfully. I'll borrow your office for a moment. As I took 2 steps, he grasped my arm. So, you leave him in your office while you step out? What is that about? My mother is also inside. Oh, he replied, as I walked toward Wei Ran's office, briefly explaining the matching process. Once the door was closed, he wrapped his arms around me. With all this commotion, when are you two getting married? That topic has shifted rather quickly, I said, pulling his hand as we walked toward the sofa. There's no rush. You've already got a child. Yet you're withholding a title from Qizong. Fine, take a break. I've got work to do. Yes, you hurry along. I had barely lain down for 10 minutes when my phone rang. Yao, I heard you're pregnant. How far along are you? When are you getting married? Oh, these two. A month later, while I was napping in the office, Qi Yenshan came by to inform me that he had found a suitable bone marrow match. He had also covered all expenses. Consider it repaying her for the gift of life. When her time comes, we shall accompany her once more, proving to all who dare speak ill of you that they are mistaken. I chuckled softly. You think quite far ahead. Indeed. Qi Yenshan suddenly cradled my face in his hands. Sure, Yao, am I reliable? Yes, you are. Then, do you wish to marry me? Could you please let go of me first? He pecked my lips twice before releasing me. Speak quickly. If you don't, you won't be leaving this break room today. Feigning ignorance to his threat, I sought a more comfortable reclined position. Qi Yenshan, I have a question. Please go ahead. How have you managed to endure for so long? From high school until now, I had lost count of how many times I had pushed him away. Yet, he continued to draw near again and again. Have I ever mentioned something to you? What is it? Qi Yenshan suddenly grew serious. You seem to possess an innate allure for me. Is it because of pheromones? Nonsense about pheromones. While we do indeed complement each other, when I first laid eyes on you, you hadn't even differentiated yet. So, you were someone I liked from the very first moment. Just the thought of being the person you could rely on fills my heart with joy. Regrettably, I realized too late that you did not wish to be a climbing vine. Instead, you aspired to be a sturdy tree beside me. Thus, my reckless love imposed a burden upon you. Did it not? I gazed into his deep, dark eyes. Unexplainably, my nose tinged with an ache. Qi Yenshan leaned in a bit closer. Sure, Yao, I can feel your love for me. So much of it. Unable to contain myself, I delivered a playful punch to his chest. Qi Yenshan, you're doing this on purpose. He simply smiled at me, and after reveling in his laughter, leaned in to kiss me, the scent of my own green bamboo fragrance wafting around us. Qi Yenshan then pulled me down onto the bed, the fragrance of green sandalwood growing stronger. Are there any more questions you wish to ask? I tugged at his hair at the back of his head, pulling him back slightly. Yes. Suddenly, a dream from a few days prior flashed through my mind. Qi Yenshan, quickly ask, will you go bald? Oh, will you develop a beer belly? Oh, will you always love me like this? Qi Yenshan squinted slightly. Is that all? I nodded. Listen closely, Sure Yao. First, none of my ancestors have ever gone bald. Not even the collateral branches. Second, my abs are intact, all 8 of them. Third, he said, lifting his hand to pinch my left earlobe, I will always love you. Deeply and exclusively. Are you reassured now? Yes. Then, will you agree to marry me? Yes. I didn't hear that. Speak louder. I will marry you. Just then, the lunch break alarm went off. As I began to rise, I was pulled back down. Don't move. If you do, the baby will think we're up to no good. I feel this bed is a bit small. I'll take you to the resting room in my office next time. The bed there is quite large, we can roll around freely. Seeing the hem of his shirt being tugged out, I playfully pushed him away and chuckled. Have some dignity, Qi Yenshan. I don't need any dignity. What dignity do I have? He pinned my hands to the sides, a triumphant grin on his face. If I had dignity, I wouldn't have been able to pursue you. That was certainly true. I parted my lips to welcome his kiss, smiling softly. Perhaps it's time to reclaim it. The end of the story. Thank you for listening. I look forward to our next tale together.